What's up everybody, it's La Muerte Blanca. We're back with another explained video where we speedrun the retelling of complicated game stories with plenty of jokes along the way. This time we're discussing Crisis Core Final Fantasy VII Reunion, the Crisis Core remaster that provides some context to Final Fantasy VII Remake's confusing ass story. Real quick, make sure you check out my Final Fantasy VII Remake explained video as there are references to that game here. Regardless, if you're one of those that can't spare the 15 plus hours needed to play it, don't worry, I got you. The game starts off near the end of the Shinra-Wutai War, where Zack, a second-class Shinra soldier that's rocking the Sasuke cut and leaning hard into the overused hero pose. Like Cloud from Final Fantasy VII Remake, he has a magical sword that manages to block all the bullets that might hit him despite the fact that a small army of machine guns aren't loading at close range. Let's assume they aim like stormtroopers.
Have we ever hit anybody with these guns?
I hit a bird once.
And even though Midgar seems to be a technical marvel with its advanced robotics, they use flip phones. Some of y'all probably know what those are. Zack fights a tiger, bull, mohawk fish thing, gets jumped by Sephiroth, what? Gets saved by his mentor Angeal, but none of it matters because this is all a training exercise. Then we find out this whole thing is some bullshit Saturday morning cartoon because Zack's Mickey Mouse Headhouse wants to be a hero and can't stop talking about dreams and honor. Later, Zack squatting his life away and learns one of the first-class soldiers deserted Shinra, bringing a bunch of lower ranks with him. Zack gets a mission from Director Lazard to help end the war and hopefully find Genesis, this missing first-class soldier. They head out, complete the mission, get jumped by ninjas, and Jill tells Zack to save Lazard, and after he does, this random materia transports Zack to the Shadow Realm to fight Fire Doggo. Zack's a little bitch and can't handle the heat, get it? But Sephiroth phases in to save him. For the record, this is Sephiroth before he became an asshole. Right now, he's a famous hero and first-class soldier for Shinra. They learn the ninjas that jump them are Genesis copies. I guess Square Enix design budget ran dry, so they're using copy-paste. Angeal's also gone. Sephiroth says Genesis is a deserter and Angeal is with him. But Angeal wouldn't do that. He's always talking about dreams and honor. A month later, Zack's doing squats again until Lazard sends him to Genesis' hometown. This time, he's going with the man of culture himself, Song. They find more Genesis copies and Song says Genesis traits can be translated into soldiers and monsters with technology that was stolen from Shinra. Song also says Angeal and Genesis were best friends growing up. Zack hits up Angeal's mama, who says Genesis rolled up and killed most of the town. She doesn't seem very fazed by this for some reason. Angeal also stopped by to drop off the sword that represents the family's honor. So now dude has no honor? Did he really betray Shinra? They find Genesis, the dude that looks exactly like Ginger Dante and annoyingly talks in screenplay literally the entire game. Genesis barbecues Song and Zack goes after him, but Angeal steals the sword, lets Genesis get away, and dips after her giving his sword back. Song says Shinra's using their kill streak to airstrike the whole town, and Zack rushes to save Angeal's mom, but she's already dead. Angeal killed her? No, his own mama? That is not honor. Genesis teleports Zack back to the Shadow Realm and summons
Red Eyes Black Dragon!
After defeating it and returning, you'd think Zack would be ready to take out Genesis for his bullshit, but instead says, "What happened to dreams and honor?" What? Then Genesis flourishes a single wing because the design team couldn't afford a second, as he says, "We have neither dreams nor honor," and he dips. Just then, boom, boom, boom! The airstrike arrives, leveling the entire town. How the fuck did Zack survive that? Plot armor is strong with this one. The war is now over and Zack got promoted to soldier first class. He changes his outfit by wearing the exact same thing he was wearing before. Then all the alarms start going off as Genesis copies are attacking Shinra. Zack drops them and Sephiroth's blaming Hollander, a Shinra scientist that stole the copy tech and disappeared after not being awarded head of the science department. His salty ass is likely working with Genesis. Zack meets with the other Turks, including Cisne, this lady Turk, to help them defend the sector. Then Sephiroth needs him where Angeal's been spotted. He gets attacked, and after killing the monster, hold up, Angeal's being copied too? They sneak into Hollander's lab and Zack learns some shit. Hollander is copying traits into monsters, and Project G was an old experiment where they implanted ancient cells into a human, that human being Genesis. Get it? Project G? Then Hollander shows up. He's trying to stop Genesis and Angeal's degradation. Wait, getting copied, degradation, is friends with Genesis? Does this mean Angeal's one of them too? And because Genesis speaks in nothing but annoying ass script, he wants the gift of the goddess. More on that later. Hollander runs away and Zack goes after him until he's stopped by Angeal. He has a white wing? Angeal? Angel? Get it? They talk about monsters and angels, and Angeal finds a way to divert the conversation back to dreams again, and damn! catches Zack hard with the gut punch. So you can. Then he drops Zack through a grate, and just like Cloud, dude falls all the way down to the slums through the church roof and is woken up by Aerith. Zack and Aerith do a bunch of filler that establishes their flirty relationship and have some conversation that is eerily similar to interactions with Cloud in the main game. He then gets a call that the Shinra building is being attacked and has to fight his way to it until Angeal shows up, says he has to protect his honor, and flies off with Zack to meet Sephiroth. Whose side is he really on? Angeal says Hollander ordered Genesis to kill Hojo. Again, Hollander's butthurt because he's not the head of the science department. Zack finds Hojo, but he's not tripping. Genesis is just a degrading monster that got Genova cells and not ancient cells. Because back in the day, scientists thought Genova was an ancient. Spoiler, it's not. Hojo also claims that Hollander can't cure Genesis's degradation, and confirms Angeal is another one of Hollander's experiments. Then, completely forgetting to kill Hojo, Genesis blows up this big ass tube and leaves. Zack and Angeal go after him, Genesis summons another weird mythical creature that has no business being here, and after Zack beats it up, they're all gone. Aerith's now nagging Zack to build her a flower wagon, but he can't do that right now because Angeal knows where Genesis and Hollander are. The Turks pick him up, only to get shot back down, and Zack's acting like he's not freezing his nuts off in that tank top. During their frigid walk through the mountains, Zack makes a friend with this infantryman. Holy shit! It's Cloud? They find the site, sneak in, and Genesis is going to kill Hollander? Genesis wants the Genova cells and throws a tantrum when Hollander says he doesn't have them. If I'm going to hell, then the world's coming with me! Zack manages to fight off Genesis, who annoyingly starts talking in script again until he and his single wing fall into the abyss. As he's leaving the facility, Zack notices this eerie ice cave, automatically assumes his people are there, and goes in to find an abandoned bathhouse of all things. Good guess, Zack, because Cloud and Song are there, but they're all messed up. Zack continues to find Angeal, who says, I should have fought Genesis. Bitch, then why'd you send Zack? To prepare you for me! As he starts swinging at our boy. Then Hollander strolls in like, get vengeance for our family's suffering. Hold up, is Hollander Angeal's father? Clearly there's some familial tension because Angeal's in denial like, you're not my dad! Then why is Hollander's project named after his mom and not Genesis? What? That's right, Project G is actually Project Jillian, the same name as Angeal's mother. Jillian was implanted with Genova cells and Genesis had her genes mapped onto him as a fetus. But Angeal is Jillian's biological son. After Jillian and Hollander did the deed, the Genova cells were passed down to him naturally. Angeal says he's a monster, able to absorb and pass on genetic traits. This is Genova's power. Then Angeal continues my Saturday morning cartoon joke when he throws his arm up like, it's morphin' time! But instead of a cool ass Megazord, these monsters he summoned turn him into this weird ass monster that has a chain chomp on his dick. So Zack just watched his mentor legit become a monster and gets cut when it tries to kill him. And all he can say is, what happened to honor? Are you fucking serious? Zack uses the power of honor to overcome Monster Angeal, and as a reward for killing him, Angeal uses his last moments to give him that big ass butter knife. Protect your honor, always, and embrace your dreams. Heroes have dreams, and honor. For real, the script writing is so bad in this one, I'm not even upset Angeal's lying there dead. Big rips though, shout out to honor. Zack must not be that upset either because after what seems like a very short mourning period, he's back to work training soldier recruits. But in honor of his late mentor, he teaches them all the only lesson he ever learned. Embrace your dreams. Protect your honor. I'm so fucking done already. Zack managed to capture Hollander and was put on standby for some time afterwards. Plenty of time to have an existential crisis about honor and do more unnecessary squatting. Siste interrupts him to say Director Lazard went missing and was funding Hollander's research. Wait, he's connected this too? Zack also learns the Turks have been watching Aerith, and she's an ancient, but you already know that because you watched my Final Fantasy VII video, right? Right? Out of nowhere, more Genesis copies pull up and Zack beats them down with a beach umbrella. Vacation's over because Genesis copies are trying to break Hollander free. And they do. So even though Hollander escaped, and even though there are Genesis copies causing chaos all over the world, Zack decides to take a break to visit Aerith. Dude hasn't even hit yet, and he's whipped. When he gets there, he finds her with Angel Doggo, another Angeal copy? And it's protecting them? Zack's concerned about his mentor, but Aerith don't give a fuck because she's still nagging him about that damn flower wagon. And even after our boy does a bunch of obnoxious fetch quests to build it, she doesn't even like it. Bitch! However, this does deepen their relationship, and if you haven't put the pieces together yet, Zack is the name Aerith tells Cloud in the main game when she talks about the soldiers she loved. Sephiroth found a lead on Lazard and Hollander, so they get what's left of the crew and head out to investigate Nibelheim, Cloud's hometown. They run into cowgirl pre-boob job Tifa, who guides them to the facility. After they find a door marked Genova and Hojo's Mako enhanced monsters, Sephiroth starts to have his own existential crisis as he questions his very humanity. A humanity that doesn't exist because Genesis shows up to tell him he's a monster. Sephiroth's the greatest monster created by the Genova Project, a twisted experiment involving the use of Genova cells. Sephiroth's freaking out like, Mom? But the thing he calls Mom is a fossilized alien. After blowing up Dude's whole world, Genesis then starts asking for Sephiroth's help. Sephiroth is the perfect Genova experiment because he can't degrade. Genesis wants some of those cells. Like the badass he is, Sephiroth just walks away like, fuck you and you dumb apple. Zack goes after him but sees Cloud getting bodied by Genesis copies. He saves them and they head back to town where Zack and Cloud do the bro thing where they speak cryptically about their problems, but nothing actually gets said. Cloud makes the mistake of mentioning Zack's sword, who then goes on another dreams and honor spiral, but this gets Zack out of his funk and inspires him to do more squats for absolutely no reason. Tifa then tells Zack Sephiroth locked himself away to learn all he can about his checkered origin. Then one night, oh shit, the entire town is on fire. Sephiroth has officially snapped and is out here killing everyone and is trying to free Genova in order to take over the planet. Zack pulls up on Sephiroth like, the fuck you doing, man? And ends up in a fight with one of Shinra's strongest soldiers. Because bad guys love monologuing mid-fight, Sephiroth claims he's the chosen one and will rule the planet before yeeting Zack across the facility. Then Cloud grabs the sword and plunges it deep into Sephiroth's back. Wait, he's not dead? Sephiroth then yeets Cloud and straight skewers him with that long-ass katana. But somehow Cloud's still alive, and with a sword likely piercing vital organs manages to yeet Sephiroth into the wall, dealing heavy fire and electric damage that should be fatal. As I wonder how they're not dead yet, Cloud and Zack are all fucked up. So messed up they barely comprehend Hojo turning them into this next twisted experiment. Zack goes on a vision quest, somehow breaks out of his tube and gets Cloud's unconscious ass out of his, carries him into town, stops Shinra from stealing him, carries him back to the mansion, changes his clothes, carries him into the woods, and convinces Cisne to give him a motorcycle so he can go see his girlfriend. On the way there, Genesis jumps Zack, recites some more annoying prose, and tells him modified Genova cells run through him and Cloud since they are Hojo's latest experiment. In an effort to stop the degradation, Genesis steals some of Zack's hair and dips, leaving him to fight this monster straight out of Castlevania. They end up in Zack's hometown and he runs into Cisne, who tells him Angeal's been spotted. Say what? He's been dead. Zack sees him, tries to pursue, but runs into Hollander and Genesis. Turns out Zack's cells are no good because he already had Mako in him from being a soldier. Still in search of pure S cells, they hone in on Cloud, who got some during Hojo's experiment. Zack rushes back and is all like, Cloud, watch out! Like this motherfucker hasn't been unconscious since leaving the mansion. Holy shit, is that Angel? No time for that now. Hollander's getting away, and by getting away, I mean he ran 20 yards that way. Hollander gets bodied, degrades into nothing, and finds out that's not Angel. It's just another copy. But this one is actually Director Lazard. Say, what? Lazard partnered with Hollander for his own reasons, ends up in an Angel copy, and decides now he wants to save the world, which is why he's helping Zack. He informs Zack about Genesis's goal to obtain the gift of the goddess, but still no one knows what the hell that is. Zack decides to head back to the bombed out remains of Genesis's hometown, finds a giant hole that he can't climb out of, but says, we'll do it live, fuck it, and jumps in. He fights his way through another underground facility until he finds a degrading Genesis citing more prose to a statue in this warped ass tree. Dude continues monologuing, Zack's all like, shut the fuck up! But he keeps going because Shakespeare types don't know how to shut up. Once you sift through Genesis's cryptic bullshit, you finally learn the gift of the goddess is the planet's life stream. Like Angel, Genesis decides, it's morphin' time! As he absorbs the life stream and turns himself into the true Final Fantasy Megazord. But that doesn't matter because Genesis doesn't have honor. Get bodied. Rejuvenated from the life stream, Genesis is ready to catch more hands, so he goes after Zack again, who obliges him. This ass whooping sends Genesis into a completely different stream of consciousness, where he sees what I assume to be the personification of the planet, aka the goddess. Of course, Square Enix does nothing to explain this fever dream. Genesis is like, mommy? Goddess gives him the silent fuck you, and he falls back to reality. Zack carries Genesis out of the cavern we were previously told there was no return from and regroups with Cloud and Lazard. They were attacked by Shinra while Zack was gone, but were able to fight them off with help from Angel Doggo. Sadly, Lazard and Doggo pass away as they complete their own degradation. On Doggo's body, Zack finds a letter from Aerith. She's been writing him for 4 years. Wait, 4 years? That's how long he was in that tube? Determined to see his girlfriend, Zack picks up Cloud and continues on, leaving Genesis there like he's not a threat or didn't just try to kill him twice. Or even worse, leaving Genesis there to get picked up by Deep Ground because I'm assuming that's Weiss's haircut. Check out my Intermission DLC video to learn more about them. Now Zack is talking to Cloud like it's Weekend at Bernie's because dude is still knocked out until, is he finally starting to wake up? Still a fugitive, Shinra has sent an entire army after Zack in a scene that should look very familiar to those of you who know the Final Fantasy VII Remake. But this time, Whispers aren't getting destroyed. Zack does his best to fend off the army, but their numbers are too great as he catches a bullet straight to the dome. Cloud now has enough strength to crawl his way to Zack, who is all fucked up. Like his mentor before him, Zack passes on that big ass butter knife to Cloud along with his honor and his dreams, because symbolism, and after passing on his living legacy, Zack can now close his eyes and rest in peace. Embrace your dreams. Heroes have dreams. Sometime later, we get to rewatch the opening cutscene of Final Fantasy VII Remake, and that's Crisis Core. Finally, we get some much needed context for the main game. Stupid that I had to play a completely different game to get it, but at least I still have my honor and my dreams. If you enjoy these videos, be sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell, or don't. I'm not going to tell you how you live your life. Don't forget to let me know in the comments what other games you all want to see. We've already done a ton of other explain videos, so make sure you check those out as well. I'm La Muerte Blanca, and I'll catch you guys next time.